Hi, everybody. Sorry
Hi,
we got a late
everyone.
start.
It was my
Both of
fault.
us we're running a little behind today, so
Yeah.
just one of those things. I don't know how it goes. Welcome back again to my channel, Debra
Thank you,
Zachau.
Sherry.
It's
It's
Grow Your Light. Um,
nice to be
Deborah
here.
is wonderful when it comes to readings, when it comes to numerology, when it comes to breakdown of your birthday and stuff. I absolutely love to watch her, and I
Thank you.
felt even blessed even more when I got to be friends with her, and so it was
Yes.
like, yay! And
Yay. I know.
so
I
much
feel the same
so
thing.
that she gave my name to her publisher for her book that's coming out in a couple of weeks, right?
No, it's going to be September 28th.
Yeah.
So it's a few
Oh,
weeks away.
okay,
It was going to
roughly a
be
month.
August, but they pushed it back.
Okay, so
Too bad.
and it's just called Decode Tarot is the name of the
Yes.
book.
Mhm.
Um, as soon as I get a link, I don't think there's a link for it yet to pre-order, is there?
Yeah, there is a pre-order
Oh,
link,
there
but
is.
I have something special.
Oh,
I have something special.
oh,
Hold on.
oh.
Let me find it. Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, found it.
You should try to find something in my room.
I know everything's on the floor here.
On the
So,
floor, piled on the tables next, falling out of the bookshelf. Yeah.
so the publisher sent me a copy of my book that I have not
Oh,
unwrapped. It came with a
oh,
bottle of wine.
oh, they even better.
I unwrapped the wine, but I
Yeah, I was
haven't
gonna say that would have
unwrapped
been
the book.
first up.
So I think
Oh,
I should do it today. Today.
oh yes, let's do it. We're gonna have an unveiling. Matter of
Yes. Hi,
fact,
Jonathan. Jonathan
let's do
Bailey.
this so they can see your book better. While
All
she's
right.
unwrapping, I'll say hello. We got Debbie at Three Shifting Veils. Aloha, Jonathan. We've got Amanda with Tropical Empress, Roseanne, Gina, Viviani, I said Roseanne. Let me scroll upwards here. Kathy T, Kayla, Linda Kennedy, Joyful Journey. Joyful was the first one in the chat. She was here early,
Ah,
earlier even than me. She was already
hi,
signed in when
Marina.
I checked. Um, and oh, Marina is here, and yeah, we got a bunch of folks in here. Awesome.
Jonathan
And
Bailey.
hopefully, and I know we'll get more Hummingbird. Oh, I like that Hummingbird. That's a cool name. And welcome, welcome,
Linda.
welcome. And
Lori.
Laurie. And
So
okay, I'm
nice of you
dying.
all to come. Wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, I'm dying of curiosity. The book. Da-da.
Da 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 da. Da da da
Da,
da.
da,
Ooh,
da.
it turned out really good.
Oh, I love it. That looks
It's more
great.
turquoise than the camera's picking up. I'm kind of dark today too, but Decode Tarot,
That
and
is
it's so beautiful the way
fabulous.
it's set
It won't
up.
take me long before it'll be full of highlights and write-ins.
Awesome.
Because because I printed out the one that your publisher sent me, because she sent it to
Oh,
me in like a PDF file, and I
PDF,
tried
yeah.
reading it online, just reading it from my PDF reader, but I kept wanting to make notes, and so I had to go print it out.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's an investment. Thank you.
And so I printed it out, and I've got it.
Did you have a question about anything?
I've got it in my little.
What?
I
Look at
put it
this,
in a
everyone. Look
binder.
at this. In color. You're kidding me.
No,
Oh,
I'm gonna
this
do it. I'm
makes me
gonna do
so
it right.
happy.
And
Oh,
I am
thank you.
loving this book. I mean, I've been doing this for since 2020. Okay, 4 years now. My channel will be 3 years old the end of the month. And there is still so much that I don't know or understand yet about
Right.
the cards and reading them. I gravitate more towards oracles ever since I
Sure.
discovered them. That was just, it was like, oh, that's my thing. But even as I got more into the oracles, I started getting pulled back to the tarot. You know, it was like,
Mhm.
so I have several, I have a gazillion decks. I can't stop buying cards.
You're supposed to.
Every time cards come in,
I
my
think it
family just looks at
I
me
think
and like
it's
another deck.
yeah. Well, say I think it's I think it's something we sign when we start
Well,
this
at least
business.
it's not drugs, right?
Right. Yeah, right.
I
Exactly.
could be buying really bad stuff for me. Yeah, I'll make
Yeah.
us normal again.
Thank you.
I just
Appreciate
wanted
it.
it big so everybody could see your book.
I
That is
wish
so
my
great.
hair looked like my hair up here. I would love
Oh,
that. You make
let
everyone
me
look
see if
so good. I
let's
appreciate
see. I
it.
don't know if we can. There we
Look,
go. Now
yeah, look at
everybody can
me.
see.
Oh, I am so beautiful in that picture. I'm gonna do
And
that.
that's
I'm gonna
that
whatever
little app
program you
that I
have.
was telling you about. I love
Oh,
using
it's
that.
just
Like I
great.
said, now we'll just
Well,
be opposite our pictures. Like I said, my picture that I did, same thing. I put it through the little app, and I just enjoy it. Hey, Gerald, and I know you're going to be doing a show with Gerald today, tomorrow,
tomorrow,
next week,
tomorrow,
tomorrow.
we're gonna
I knew it
we're
was
gonna talk
coming up.
about
The deck casual that he does, and where he
right.
breaks
It's gonna
down
be with the
into all
clarity
the
tarot. Right.
right. He's so much better at it than I am.
Oh, Linda,
And speaking of which,
Linda.
I've got
Oh,
this is her
thank you.
card. These are her
Yes,
cards right here. And
thank
I
you.
even took time to take them and break them down into the pips, the majors, and then the or the court cards, and
Or
then the
yeah,
majors off to the
courts.
side. That way, if you wanted to talk about a particular card, they're in order and separate, and I can find it really quick.
Oh, I love
I'm not
that.
like
Yeah.
just a minute while I'm flipping through all the cards. So, and this is a little book that comes with her deck, which you can see it's already got sticky things coming out of it, and highlights and everything where I've written all through that. That's what I do with every deck of cards I get. The first thing I do is I read the guidebook because I want to know
Oh,
what the
really? I
author's
never read the book.
intention. I always want to know what the author's intention was for that deck,
Yes.
especially
Yeah.
if it's an oracle deck. I just want to
Right.
know what
You
what
know.
is the point of it? Why did you create this? What do you want? What do you
Right.
see it doing for people? And sometimes I'm right in mesh with what it is the author's wanting. And other times I read the book and I'm like, I don't know about that. So then I just go to the cards and say, okay, what do
Yeah.
they
There you go.
tell me? And then, and I love using your cards.
Oh,
I
thank
wish
you.
they were a little bit shorter,
Yes.
easier to shuffle.
Oh, I mean it.
And
So there
because
is.
it's like I have to bulge them out to be able to
At
get
least
my
they
fingers.
bend.
Yeah,
So they're gonna
yeah.
that. So
They
the
shuffle really
publisher.
well.
Yeah, it does because they're softer. But the first three reviews, I mean, it was I forget 2020, September 28th, 2020. The Clarity Tarot came out, and first three reviews on Amazon was 1 star because of the cards were too flexible. Literally, that's what they gave me 3 stars or 1 star for, is that it
Really,
was
I
it
like the
was the
fact that they're
card
flexible.
stock. Yeah, I like it too. But so the publisher heard all of that and they're making it a little different. There's going to be in the book. I give there's a lot of ways to do timing, and I suggested a timing for the Clarity Tarot, and the timings number didn't get on the major cards. So I thought, okay,
Oh
well,
yeah, yeah.
they're coming out with a second printing. Second printing is going to be a lot more expensive, and I think they're going to be stiffer like regular deck. But if you want to get a deck, it's up to you to do it or whatever. Now's the time to do it, because I think the first of the year, the second printing is going to happen, and you're not missing anything, because I can tell you everything that's different. But one of the things I do, and it really helps, especially if you're at a fair or an event, what you're doing, is that
That's why I like the box, because the box is sturdy and I can throw it in my bag.
Right.
And I don't have to worry.
It is a heck of it's like a tank. That box.
Yeah, it's a great box.
What I do is I take my deck and leave it whole, and then I take another deck and take it to FedEx Kinko and have them cut it up. And so when you cut it, so the size of it is quite a bit different, so you don't get them mixed up. And so when you're at an event and you have one person that wants a reading, and then, well, what does my boyfriend think about me, or blah, blah, blah. Then you have that other deck to just start slamming that reading right then, because timing is everything when you're working. And you could also use one for clarification. There's a bunch of spreads I do where there's two. The marriage spread is very fun to do, have two separate decks for that. But it's nice to have the same cards, because it's so clear when Spirit gives you the same cards for those 7 cards out. Anyway, it's really fun.
I have mixed decks, other decks together, just to get a better understanding of something if I'm doing a big reading. And it's like I'll do one and then I'll grab another tarot deck that kind of feels like it's going to be in the same vein, and then I'll start doing clarifiers with it, and that seems to work. But
that works.
Be even better.
So when I work with clients one right after the other, though, I don't know how I do it. I really don't. But I have this way of moving the cards in my hand that's fresh for every reading. And then all of a sudden, the next reading I do, it's the same cards. I don't know how it works that way than the first one, or than this previous one. So then I set that deck aside and grab another one. You don't have to have the Clarity Tarot. You have all your 300. I think Jonathan Daly said he has 300 decks, but you could grab another deck and have it on your table. Well, you can have it on your table at the ready. And then you don't put a lot of thought, oh, why is it this same cards, or am I doing it? Because that sparks a pause in your flow. So just set that aside and grab another deck and work with that. But that's how you keep going.
Do what? I missed something. Oh, okay. I'm looking at you and talking to you, and I'm not paying attention to the chat. Thank you, Sharon. Sharon's like putting all the links in for all of us. So
thank you, Sharon.
Fantastic. She is our go-getter in the moderation.
She's wonderful.
Sharon stays on top of it all. A bunch of us laugh and say we see her in a little room with nothing but monitors surrounding her and a keyboard, and she's hopping from show to show to show. And moderating, because I swear I've seen her on moderating like 3 or 4 different shows that are all on at the same time, and she's bopping in each chat. It's like, you go, girl.
I love that. She doesn't want anything in return. I've offered her readings and stuff like that, and she's like, no, I'm just but I'm always available in case you need it.
She's like, no, I'm cool. I enjoy what I do. So
yeah.
Now I know I've read a couple of readers who have like books out who have said that when they're going, like if they're going somewhere to do readings, like at a fair or something, and they'll shuffle, and then they'll do the first person and put those cards aside, and then they'll draw for the next question from the same deck that's already been shuffled, but they don't shuffle it again. and they don't
Oh, they
mix
don't
them.
add those cards back
They
in?
don't add the cards back in, right? They'll just keep going. I
Oh,
was like, well, now that's interesting because
I don't know if I.
in a way, I don't know. I read that and I thought, well, maybe if it's with the same person,
Yeah, right,
I could
right.
see doing that. But she'll do it like from one client to the next is how she put it in her book. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
what if there's something in one of those drawn cards that needs to come out in the third person's
It's
reading?
like you're limiting spirit because that's 78 statements spirit can say to
Exactly.
you.
Right. And then if you take out that, then you're eliminating the reversals, the uprights, all the different meanings that could come when you don't mix those back in together. I don't
Yeah.
understand her thinking, but
The
I read
only
it and I
time,
was like, interesting. It's okay.
yeah, the only time I dismiss cards is if I'm doing mediumship with the cards. And so I don't know who's going to come through. I just lay one right after the other upright until I get a reverse court card, and that's my deceased loved ones. Then you enter you feel your way into that, and it'll give you information. But I can go,
Interesting. Yeah.
even if there's 50 cards on your table and hasn't been a upright court, then what you do once you do get the upright court, you grab all those 49 back into, but leave the court card on the table, and then you reshuffle, put it back in. But I've
Go
never,
over there.
but again, that's like what you were saying, that's with the same person.
Right. Yeah.
I
I didn't understand because at first time I read it and I thought, well, I could see that how with the same person you would do that. And then I kept reading and she was talking about, by client number 3, your the amount of cards you're pulling from, of course, is much less. And I'm thinking, she didn't put all those other ones back in for somebody different. That doesn't make sense. So, I mean, when you're like me and you're in the learning process and you're trying to learn everything you can,
Right.
you tend to read everything you can get your hands on, and then
Mhm.
some stuff I've read and I'm like, it just doesn't zing for me,
Right.
it's just doesn't feel right. And so I'll kind of like, I'll maybe keep an ID or two, and then for others, like when I got your cards, when I read your book, like I said, I was highlighting and making notes, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to go back through, take everything in my printout and put it in the
Yeah.
book when I get the book.
Well, there's one thing in the book that I changed from the deck, and I feel like I want to mention it. Traditionally, the court cards are people, of course. They are still people in my deck too. But the age of a person, like the page, are always children or dependent adults.
Yeah,
And the knights are people from 18 years old to 40 years old. And then the king and queens are 40 years old to all that. So that's the traditional. And that's sort of what I kept with the Clarity Tarot. But I introduced a new framework because people are living longer and the interest
yeah,
in reading is more diverse, the younger ones, the older ones, and everything. So I put pages are still either young people or dependent adults, dependent children, that type of thing. But the knights are your contemporary. I don't care if you're 80 years old, the knights are your contemporary. And then the king and queen are all above you, like mom, dad, or banker, or landlord, that type of thing, boss, anybody who's above or has control to some degree over your life. Uh, and that's how I read the kings and queens with the book.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you can go back and forth.
When I
That's the
read
beauty
that,
of knowing.
yeah, when I read that, and I mean, and not just with your cards, but when I went and looked at other cards with the court cards, because I had never heard anybody say that with the
Yeah.
court cards, the age blocked for each
Mhm.
thing. So I didn't when I first read it was in your book
In
here. I thought,
the little book. Mhm.
oh, I said, okay, I never quite thought about it like that before. That kind of changes the whole perspective because
Mhm.
I just took them as I think I was automatically using what you've got in the new book. And that was just the king and the queen or somebody that's older, wiser that you would go to for advice. Whereas
Oh,
the knight I always saw as somebody I always saw a knight as like a warrior, kind of, kind of a
they're
contemporary,
fast
anywhere
moving.
from maybe 18 to 50, because
Right.
that's usually a warrior's age that they're going to be in battle. And that's how I think of knights, as somebody that's in battle. And then the page, I always took it just not necessarily the age. I never thought of them age wise. I always thought of them as just somebody that was more interested in sharing the messages.
Right.
They're telling everybody, they're the town crier, the newspaper boy,
Right.
the
Jonathan
reporter, whatever.
Jonathan Daly at 212
Is okay.
202 1202 has yes, so I often see pages as kids, knights as adolescents. This is the normal. This is a traditional king
Yeah,
and queen as adults, but the cards around the court card gives more insight into what they're representing, and that's true.
representing.
So,
Yeah, very
like
much so.
a one card reading isn't a reading. Well, it can be for fun, but
Yeah,
that's how it's traditional. If that doesn't fit um, for you, then entertain the thought that the person in front of you, young or old, could be a knight versus, and then the other one is over them, has some
right,
sort of
right,
control over them or influence over them.
right. Because I never
Yeah.
thought age wise, just like, if I was reading someone say who's 80 and a king and a queen showed up, I didn't necessarily think of the king and the queen as being someone older than them, but
Right.
just somebody in a position of power that would be over.
Yes. Right.
And so I never really contemplated the age aspect as I was reading until I started really studying what
Yeah.
a lot of people are saying about the cards. And I'm like, oh, and I started noticing in all my other decks, okay, yeah, the pictures of the pages are usually of kids, and the knights usually are kind of what you would consider a contemporary age, 20s,
Right.
30s, 40s age.
Well,
And then
there
the
was
king
I
and the
was
queens are always depicted as someone older with silver hair,
mhm.
white hair, whatever. And
I was reading someone, and she just wanted a general. I love general readings. There's a way in the book to do general readings, and I got the king of. No, I'm sorry. She was older. She was probably near 70, and then I got the king of Pentacles. And instead of reading it as her husband or trying to push him into something like that, I saw the King of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles. So I said, now this, my first guess on this, I'm just going to run it past you because this is how you work with clients. Say, usually this means ABC. Does that resonate? You can keep a conversation like that.
right.
And I say, I see something with your banker or bank or your institution, King of Pentacles, and it looks like you're responsible for a dependent adult. And she goes, yes, my Down syndrome son. And yeah, I'm setting up a trust for him. So that's how that went. And I thought, oh, this is
Oh,
a
yeah.
good way to
Okay.
play.
I like Amanda said that she also thought of them as just a person's maturity. Like an adult can show up at any age, but just be more childlike or playful.
Sometimes the king and queen shows up as a boss and it's about the same age as the client.
Right.
Um,
Or even younger. I mean, like I said, I never really assigned an age. I never really thought about it until it kind of got pointed out to me. And I was
yeah,
like, oh, huh. Um,
yeah.
and then Jonathan
I don't always stick to the age range. That's
Yeah,
just what I thought when I started in the late 80s. Yeah, you've been reading for a long time. It also looks, I also look at the spread. If only one or two court cards I read, it as their energy. But if, what's the next one? But if there's a lot of court cards, I'm more likely to read them as people around the querent. Yeah, like a group. A lot of court cards. The 8 of Wands, which could mean air travel. 10 of Pentacles could mean legacy, family legacy. All that you can pull into a reunion. Looks like the family's planning something big. Buckle up.
yeah.
So,
You're going on a trip.
yeah.
And Roseanne said, I just pre-ordered your book.
Thank you so much. Oh my
So that's
gosh.
y'all's homework. You all have to go pre-order her book, and then you'll learn more.
Only if it's in your heart, only if it's in your budget.
There you go. Oh, they know I'm yanking their chain over that. So, but yeah, I mean, growing up, the only time we ever had a TV growing up is if somebody gave us one. My
Yeah.
mother never bought a television in her entire life. She never bought one. We would be without, and then somebody would find out we didn't have a TV, and they go, "Oh, well, I got an old TV I can give you," and it would be there until it went out, and then we would
Right.
not have a TV again.
Then
for
you
a
wait
while.
again.
But
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
but we would go to the library every week, and between her and me and my brother, we would come home with stacks of books. And by the time I was 11, 12, she was checking books out of the adult section for me because I had read everything in the children's section, and my reading level was a lot higher than most of those books written. And it was like, I don't want to read that. I want to read something interesting. I was real into Stephen King back then. His first book by him I ever read was Carrie, and that was.
You know what? If I had a child like you that went to the library and brought home Stephen King, I'd worry for my life. She's learning, those stories. I've been listening to true crime.
No, my mother would read the same kind of books.
Oh, okay.
She would read anything. She never even finished high school, and so she was such a sponge, just soaking up anything she could get knowledge-wise. She read constantly. I mean, she always had a book in her hands.
Smartest people I know are readers. Yeah.
And that's where she got her education from, was just from reading in the books. And she would read all kinds of different things from murder mysteries. Who the hell's calling me? It never fails. The minute I get online, the phone starts ringing. She would read anything from murder mysteries to cookbooks. Just depended on what took her fancy that week. But yeah, so but I am loving your new book. Everybody's gonna love it, especially if you're a reader. Even if you don't actually do readings, it's just there's just so much that breaks down and explains. I love the fact that you break it down from the major arcana, the pit cards, the court cards. It's like you put each in its own section.
Yep.
And break it down, and then you use examples of readings. If I got, this was the question, these are the cards I pulled, this was the breakdown of the reading. It was like, oh, okay.
Right. But I take you into my thought process. That's the thing, because a bunch of people have cards. A lot of people want to do readings, but that chasm between getting the cards and doing readings with confidence, there's something missing there. What do you do? How do you do it? There's a couple things you can do. Number one, identify cards, the meaning of cards in your daily life. You hear Uncle George got mad somewhere and say, well, that could be, reversed King of Wands or something like that, or there's events in your life that you can assign a card to. That's the first thing. But those cards are meant to take you through a reading, or me see, the book is supposed to take you through a reading inside my head. So, and I say out loud in the book, I don't know what this card will mean yet. We have to go through it first. And the next card, it looks like it's moving towards da da da. But I think if you
Yeah.
go along with an advisor with their thought process as they're pulling the story together, once it clicks, once that penny drops for someone, you are a confident, accurate advisor. And we need a lot of those in the world right about
Another
now.
buyer. Amanda pre-ordered your book.
Oh, thank you.
Jonathan said he was disappointed when they changed the delivery date.
I know. Oh, me too. Me
Yeah,
too, sweetie.
So, and then Gerald's like, I need to pre-order the book so I can have a bound copy.
Oh, I think all the people I'm negotiating, all the people who got a digital copy to review will get a hard
A hard copy. That's
So
what
I'm
the
in the
email
back
said that I
room
got. So
negotiating that right now. So
awesome. And Jonathan says, yeah, I read Stephen King in my adolescence too. See, Jonathan, that's why I like you. We
yeah,
both have that
yeah,
morbid mindset.
a little
Everybody
warpy.
laughs at my sense. Yeah, a little wonky. And yes, thank you, Marina. Don't forget to share,
Oh,
like, and
thank you,
subscribe.
Marina. So nice to have
Debra's
you here.
contact information, her website, her book site, her channel, her socials, everything that you would need to get in touch with her is in the description box below. So just scroll down and start clicking. They should all be clickable links. So
Yeah.
sometimes I mess it up and they don't come out clickable, but they should be all clickable.
Thank you.
And yeah, Amanda's talking about she's more of an intuitive reader. I myself, yes, Gerald, actually, Jonathan has been a guest, but it's been like over a year. I need to have him come back. Same with you. It's been like over a year since you've been on.
Oh, wow.
And so, I mean, Gerald and I read together all the time because we're in a couple of panels
Mm-hmm.
of different other shows that we read together. But just the two of us reading, together is like, I was just thinking about it the other day. I was like, I haven't had Gerald on in a while. And because he had me on and then I had him on, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's been ages since. You get kind of caught up in what's going on and you forget.
Right.
But with your clarity tarot, I just want to show people. I mean, for those that don't go out and buy cards, I mean, the artwork on these is absolutely gorgeous, and I like that one.
Right. I didn't do the artwork. I worked with Kate Matthews. She's the one who did the art.
And I am one of those kind of people. A lot of times, what will draw me to the cards is the artwork. If
Mm-hmm.
it's like really color saturated, whether if it's realistic looking or fantasy looking, doesn't really
Yeah.
matter to me. But like, I know some people like using the really plain card. There's not a lot of picture on it, or it's just very kind of washed out looking or very simplistic. It'll just have one or two symbols or something, and those are great, but
Right.
they just don't do it for me. I
Right.
need
Right.
pictures and color, and that's my thing. I love to have the color
I'm glad.
saturation and stuff.
I'm so
It's the same
glad.
with oracle cards. I the ones that are really color saturated and really show a lot. Those are the ones I'll go out and buy. And the last deck of cards I got, it took me 6 months to save up for them because they were way too expensive.
Oh,
But they're
yeah.
beautiful. And called
Thanks.
the what are they
Gerald
called?
has to go. Thank you for coming, Gerald.
Yeah. Bye, Gerald. Thanks for popping in. And then yeah, Debra will be on Gerald's channel tomorrow, so make sure you go and click subscribe to Gerald so you'll get the notification when they get ready to go on.
Right.
And but yeah, but I'm trying to think. I was remaking notes for myself earlier today because I didn't want to forget anything I wanted to bring out about it. Um, we kind of talked about, I like the way you broke down the different suits with an
Oh,
explanation, kind of what each suit
yes.
stands for. Now, I've
Uh-huh.
seen others kind of do that basically, but not to the level that you kind of broke them down, where I was like, oh, okay, that I didn't quite think of it that way.
Right.
Um, it was like the first time I did a show with someone who at the time he was doing like once a month, he would do one card only with one guest, and you would spend an hour just talking about that one card.
Uh,
And he invited me to come on, and we did the Hanged Man. And I thought, what the hell am I going to talk about for an hour about one card? I don't know that much about him. And but it was just so interesting because he's an artist, a professional artist, does paintings and whatnot. And the things that he brought out that he notices in cards to help him read were things that I had never considered at that because I was really brand new then. It was like, what's in the background? What are the colors?
right.
Water? Is there water in every card? Is there mountains in every card? Is it storming? Is it bright and sunny? Is it dark clouds rolling in? Just all these little things of what's
Yeah.
going on besides the main character of the card. What's happening
Yeah.
in the
You
background and
know,
how does it match up with the other cards? And I went, oh crap. I was like,
yeah.
that just
So
opened a whole new door for me.
so what I'll bring that up. I'll bring that up right now because if you don't mind. So people who are brand new to this, you can do a whole reading, a good reading with just knowing the suits.
Yeah.
Just knowing the suits. So, and there's ways I won't go into, but I made that deck because I was working on the psychic hotline. I still do work on the psychic hotlines, and you can get very busy, one call after another, and you don't know you're too tired to do the next call until you're on the next call. And to serve
Yeah.
that person well, I need to find something in this mess of cards on my table to move into the room of knowing for this on behalf of this client. And so and new people, when they first start out, they'll throw a mess of cards down and say, well, where the heck do I start? Just see how is it heavy in one suit or another? Is it heavy in one color? You've got, I don't know, 8 cards down, whatever. And does you see all red? Move into that,
Right.
emotionally move into red and start the reading from there. Move into all the swords and start from the reading from there, because the first thing you can say to prime the pump is, wow, you've been doing a lot of thinking. If it's all swords, oh, you've been moving around and there's not much time between thought and action. And say
Yeah.
that to the client. You can start the reading from there. And so you only know 10 cards out of 78. You can still do a dynamite reading.
Exactly.
Knowing
Exactly.
the
That's one of the when I first started, somebody sent me cards and said, and I'm like, okay, now what? And they're like, just watch other readers and throw your cards when they do cards, you throw them at
Yeah,
where you're
that's a
watching
good
at.
idea.
Did you get the same cards they got? What do you see in your cards that may be different from what they got? And I'm like, okay. And in the beginning, it was really confusing, and it wasn't until I started kind of studying and listening to some people talk about the breakdowns
Yeah,
that I realized, oh, okay, there's a reason why this one has a sword and this one has a coin in his hand.
right.
Because in the beginning, I was like, well, what's the difference? I mean, they're both the 3. Why is it or they're
Yeah,
both a 7? And it was getting the grasp of that understanding that there's a whole entire different meaning within a suit without even looking at what card it is, just in the suits of the cards. And I was like,
Yes,
oh,
exactly. So, and you bring up a wonderful point. The whole reason I got on this tangent with books and things is that someone gets a deck just like you did. What do I do now? There are so many things you can do with that deck in the privacy of your own home that has nothing to do with yourself. Don't, it's hard to read yourself, so don't get down there
right,
that
yeah.
way.
I still don't read
But
myself.
I'm binging right now, like true crime. So make sure it's a true crime and not a made up. Well, it can be a made up crime, of course. Let's say it's a true crime and you pause the show.
A new
Number one,
Oracle deck I just got.
you know for sure that someone's dead, right? So you can ask the cards, are they in a field? Are they in the dumpster? Are they, who's guilty? Stuff like that. It's fun. You can just play around that way with it as well.
Interesting. I never quite thought of it. Yeah, I picked that up because there's me and another reader once a month will do a monthly mystery and just whatever we kind of, we've done everything from cold cases to just weird unexplained things. It's like, well, what happened there? And
nice.
And I came across that, I think it was on Amazon or Etsy, one of them, and I thought, oh, that might come in handy with that one show. So
do they have a card that's the knife, the shotgun?
Yeah, I mean, and the cards are the cards are like really simplistic.
Yeah.
Wooded area. That's all.
Oh, cool. Look at that. Wonderful.
And then you'll get
that'd be for a remote
natural
viewing.
disaster,
Interesting.
And here's one. I'm dropping them everywhere. Landfill. Who would think to
oh my
check
god
a landfill? It's another one that just says homicide. And it's like 1-2 word cards. There's no book, no explanation. You could tell they're brand new. They're slip sliding everywhere.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything with them but a card flip through that I haven't posted yet because I'm still trying to work on filling in the rest.
You can also use cards to build characters for a fiction story. I've had authors.
I've heard people talk about that. Yes.
Yeah. There's one story where the character was a priest on the good side of everything, and his character wasn't moving anymore halfway through the book. And so I dealt the reversed 9 of cups. Upright, that's like the barkeep, right? That's wishes fulfilled. Reverse, that means overindulgence. To me, this is how it's proved to me. And I don't know, some a justice card or something like that, right? So her character wanted to just let loose and get drunk and maybe even get in trouble with the law, that type. And so as I was saying that, she just beamed. Oh my God, there it is. He's been too good all this time. He wants to go get drunk. So that's fun to do.
He wants to be a bad boy for one night.
Yeah, let me be a bad boy.
Yeah, at least if he's a boy, he doesn't wind up paying the consequence 9 months later for being bad one night. But
so there's that too.
Well, I don't know. He could, but
story.
He's not the one that's dealing with it.
Right. That's true.
But I loved the breakdowns that you did with the suits and the way that you kind of gave each suit, in a way, its own character.
Yeah,
is how I looked at it. It was like, oh, that's the character of Pentacles, and that's the character of Swords. It was like, okay, that I can start integrating in. It's like, I wish I knew that 4 years ago when I started this. But maybe I would have moved a little faster along that line, because sometimes I still feel like trying to figure out what to do.
No, you just choose one thing in the lineup.
I don't have them memorized. Yeah, I know some people, every card is memorized. It's like, no. I have a handful of them that the minute I see the card, I know the meaning. And that could change depending on the rest of the cards, but there's still a lot of them. I look at it and I'm like, I don't even
Then don't
remember
read
what
them.
the
They're
card
not for,
stands for.
if you know, like I said, if you know 10 cards or 5 cards or 11
Yeah.
cards, it doesn't matter. Read from there. And just when you get to that card, because that's an understanding between you and spirit.
And
Say, okay, I
exactly.
have these 10 cards. You're going to have to give me the whole story within these 10 cards, and you can't. You'll get it. You'll get
Exactly. I mean, and that's what,
Yep.
once I got over the fear of not remembering what that card stands for, and sometimes I'll grab the little book, my little cheat sheet, and I'll go peek real quick if I got time.
it.
Oh,
Sure.
okay, that's what that meant. But a lot of times now I just look at what's around it. What was the question? What
Yeah,
direction are we going in? And I've given meanings for something, and I've had somebody say, that card doesn't mean that. I'm like, it does in this reading, it does. It doesn't in the other reading because it was different. Now it's this way. So and I think a lot, especially newer readers, can get really hung up on that with I have to memorize not just 70 something cards, but also in reverse. And then immediately thinking reverse is bad and upright is good is like,
No.
that's
Some
not
get
true.
really better,
No.
like the reverse 5 of cups. You get that?
Yeah.
You're fine. You're doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some cards that you'd rather get the reverse than the
Yeah.
upright. And then I like the way with the major arcana you broke it down to guardians, teachers, mentors, guides, and angels
Mhm.
of the different. What
Helpers.
was? Yeah, how did you determine which card went where? I'm just starting that section of the book, so I haven't read that part yet. Except for saying that,
Okay.
oh, she broke it down into these categories. I told you it took me forever because it's like every other sentence I'm making a notation for it.
Right. Well, the your guardians and guides can communicate with you, do communicate with you through impulse. They don't come in and do your life for you, but like guides are more the clipboard people. They really have your blueprint right here, and you're supposed to be in this school at this time, and they're kind of rigid, and there is no real emotion. It's just the facts, ma'am. This is my experience.
Yeah.
And then guardians are a little more compassionate and help you with options. Teachers have a specific thing they want to teach you, and then they're out. Usually they're intermittent, they come and go. Angels they don't have souls. And so, and of the whole lot, they're the only ones without souls. They are thoughts from God that can manifest as you need them, and they can lean you towards the good is the only thing they can do. And if you're sensitive enough, you will automatically do the good, do the better part of something. But and they're there to help if you need it. Now, like my theory, you can say you don't believe it or not, I don't know, but what makes sense to me is that archangels, like Archangel Michael, he's the warrior, the protector, correct? I believe that any angel can take that station at any time. It's not one magnificent, huge, out of this world soul that goes around the world helping people in an instant. I believe that all angels can take that suit, but they can only be invited. They can't do it without being invited. They won't assert themselves by default. So that's when you start talking and saying, okay, I think I need some help here. Let's go to the store together.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Roseanne asked what would be a good beginner deck, and Jonathan kindly answered her before I could get to the question. There are some really great decks, especially on Amazon and in Etsy, that are not that expensive. That just a regular Rider Waite deck, and I've got a couple of them. It'll have the upright and the reverse meaning printed on the card. The ones that I use, and I can always put a link in after the show for it. It has the meaning of the card. It'll show the element of the card. It'll show what zodiac sign is attributed to that card, what element sign, what ruin symbol goes with that card, the numerology breakdown of that number if it's a numbered card. And there's something else on it, and I'm going blank now on what it is, and I don't have the deck out. I'd have to move the screen to go dig in the back. But if you look at Deborah's deck, Clarity Tarot, her cards.
Oh, that's right. I have
keywords
the
on the bottom,
keywords. Right.
for either love or money. Sometimes the question may not be in that vein. That's okay,
You still go into that energy signature.
You can still, it'll give you an idea of just kind of a basic idea of what maybe that card in general would normally stand for.
Right.
And then that way, that can kind of help you as you go along. First 2 years I refused to do reversals.
Yeah.
And I would hear other readers say, oh no, I don't read reversals. I only read upright. And I still didn't have the habit of putting them all in one direction. But I have discovered that as I've grown and learned more, I can have them all in the same direction, shuffle them, pull out my spread, and there'll be cards reversed. And the first couple of times that happened to me, I was like, they were all in the same direction. How did I get reversed? And then it took a minute for me to realize, okay, Spirit wanted that card that direction. So they moved it for you and put it in that direction. And I've had weirder things happen when I've done readings. It's like, yeah, that's kind of cool, So now I just, when I get a reversal, to me, it's like a neon light flashes and says, pay attention, important, pay attention, important.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you're getting something kind of off kilter from everything else. Just last night, we did polyterology on Colleen's channel. And there was a couple of draws that I did. It was like every card was reversed. I was like, okay, that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And it fit in that, for what the question was. It was like, oh, yeah, this makes a big difference as opposed to if they'd all been upright. It would have been a completely different meaning to the question that was being asked. Amanda asked, how do you read your deck?
I'd like to say, I could tell you that right now. One of the things I want to say first is that even though there's a lot of symbolism in cards, each card has all that symbolism. You don't have to use all of the symbolism in your reading. It's all you're looking for is a pathway into the room of knowing. Once you're in that room of knowing, then you got full stream and you don't need cards, you don't need pendulum, you've got it, right? You've got the story.
Yeah, you're rolling.
But astrologers that are just getting into tarot would probably look at that symbol, astrology symbol, and they can get into the room of knowing from there, right? Because they know that part or whatever. There was another thing.
I remember the other thing was on those cards, they'll each have like either a yes, a no, or a maybe.
Yeah, mine has yes, no, but no maybes.
Yeah.
Mine has, and there's a way to do yes, no's with 5 cards that'll say like heck yeah or heck no, or it'll say yes, but, or yeah, because it'll tell you why it's yes and why it's no. The cards will. And so that gives you insight. It doesn't mean that they're not going to be able to do something because it said no. It's because it'll be no unless you change something like this at the level of action. That's how it is. So also, I have to say this, not every card that hits the table is one you read. It might be a placeholder.
Thank you. I have always felt that and thought, well, no, I haven't included it. It got drawn. And it's only been recently that when I started reading your stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I can ignore it. Okay, I can ignore that
you
card.
can ignore
All right,
that.
get
I'll
out of
give you
here. That
permission
doesn't make
to
sense.
ignore it. So for
Yeah,
instance, if you got, and also with the upright and reverse, now the only reason why I studied reverse is because I kind of got bored with the upright. And so then I did the reverse,
right,
and then I kind of got bored with that. So I did the numbers, and then, that's how I grew into it. So when you're reading upright is fine. But let's say you have a throw that's pretty nice. You got the 10 of cups, happy, happy, the sun card, happy, happy. You got the family card, happy, happy. And then you have the reverse devil or something, which is really bad. Is that devil supposed to be reversed? Is that devil supposed to be in this reading? I'm not
yeah.
sure. So I'm not going to even address it. And then you can
Unless you
clarify
pull
it with
four
other
cards and
cards.
then it shows
If
up.
court
Yeah,
cards come up after that devil, and you say, what's this devil, reverse devil stuff? Throw some cards. If there's a reverse king, let's say, we'll say, well, there's probably someone that's going to cause a ruckus, maybe drink too much, or, there's something there, because the devil is obsession, compulsive. So
right.
that, and just let that fly over you, don't let it stick on you, that type of thing.
Well, and
But the
it's like the more
question,
I've studied and the more I've looked at at trying to learn how to read the cards, the more for those that write really good books on it, the more
Mhm.
and more it's you just got to go with what's feeling right in the moment because spirit's going to let you know
Right. And
what's
that's
going
right.
to
And
work.
that's a good point. That's a good point, because it's not you doing the reading, it's spirit doing the reading, or helping you with the reading. But you can only, if I give you permission to only express what you know of the cards at that moment, then you can be sure the client that's in front of you is ready for whatever message that is. So,
Right.
yeah, and it would be easy. So you want to
Because
know
I've
how to
pulled cards
communicate.
where I've looked at them and thought, what the hell does that mean? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. But I go ahead and I'll tell them what I see,
Yeah,
and the client will be going, oh God, yeah, I get that. Okay, that really hit. I'm thinking, oh, okay, well,
right,
if you
right.
understand it, then I'm good to go,
It's
But
always fun.
it's yeah,
Always fun.
exactly. Exactly.
So,
Um,
I'll teach you how to read for past loved ones now. And so I have my deck in my hand. The whole deck is in my hand, and I am going to flip reversals. We're not looking at reversals as any one thing, but I am looking for the first reversed court card. You could come in and say, I want to talk to my mom, but your dad comes in. A lot of times that happens. So on my table, I flip one card upright. This is not a court card. So I'm going to keep going, keep going, keep going. And I've just found the first reverse court card, and it's the reversed page of Pentacles. So what's coming through is a friend, a child, a miscarriage, or someone in the family lineage that would like to speak to you. So that's what we do, right? And let me see what message that person has for you. This person is standalone. The suit is going to tell you the personality of this young person. If it's a young person with the pentacles, what it is I love little kids that are page of pentacles, because you say, Jimmy, uh, go empty the garbage, and they'll come around saying, what's in it for me? It's always like a transactional thing, right? So I love that about it. And so you can explain that, and whether they recognize it or not makes no difference. You don't have to convince them that it's late Susie when you're a kid. No, this is the spirit coming in, the four corners of the question, and time and money. We're respecting that. So I'm going to give you the message from this past loved ones. The message starts with the very first card, the very next card. So far, I've got the Sun card, meaning that she's very, very happy, followed by the Two of Wands. So also, it tells a story, the message for your client. And here's the message. So the next cards after that Let me find it first. Okay. So we've got the sun. And I'm going to interpret this because Sherry, you're my client. Okay. And this is your message, let's say. This in our imagination. This is your message. So I'm going to say this past loved one is acknowledging that the sun has come out, or I mean, things are going pretty good. You're feeling grateful, all that stuff. And Two of Wands says moving forward. The wands, sometimes the 2 and 3 of wands, sometimes for me means commerce, even though it's business commerce moving forward, that type of thing. So that's good. But I see something interesting. It's like a better message with the seven of wands, which means defending your position, right next to the 3 of pentacles, your job, then the institution, which is the emperor. So I'm going to say the message is stand your ground at work. I'm not saying the 3 of pentacles means money per se, but it means work, good work, right? So there's going to be a time in the next coming week, you can frame it in a week or a month, that you're going to have to defend your position against your boss, against corporate of some sort. And you will succeed. Absolutely, you will succeed. They will actually love you afterwards with the Knight of Cups coming through. So that's how you would read. Better. There's one. So that's an example real quick of how it, so you have the first reverse court card, and then the next card starts the reading. You can have 50 cards on the table spent, but the next card is the reading. Now, if you get, this happens a lot, if you get a whole family coming in, so the first upright card, we've got little Susie who died in childbirth or whatever. And then the next card is a reverse queen. You got a reverse knight. You got, right? You have all that. So you know that the reverse knight is a contemporary of yours, someone from school that died, or a brother, sibling, that type of thing. And so if a lot of people come in, it's like, whoa, there's a lot of people here. So then we go break it down. But if, let's say, little Susie is here with the reversed page of pentacles, and then she brings in a queen reversed, that means it's a mother-daughter kind of thing, or elder daughter over there.
That
and
makes
so
sense,
the message, also it could mean if that next card is a reverse queen, upright queen, that would be someone alive, because every upright court card is alive, is someone that's alive. The reverse is someone who's dead. Gotcha. So if we move into an upright queen, I'm going to say to my client, because of that, I think the queen is higher or older than the client. Then I'd say this is a message for your mother or someone alive from that generation and coming in, but it's someone alive if it comes in upright. If I hope I did. And then the next card starts the reading from there. So this is a message for someone in your family. They want to say something to your mother. You see what I'm saying? And then you start the reading from there for your mother. Did I confuse you? It's a fascinating thing.
It. So it's something that I think if you're doing, I would maybe practice with friends or family first before you take it on the road.
Or spirit guides. They can come in.
Yeah.
You can practice with spirit guides. But your frame of reference prior to doing this reading, the mediumship, you have to understand that it is a mediumship call. Because you can't just say, oh, there's a bunch of dead people around here, because that's not the intention of the reading. We want to know about love or know about work or something like that. And you start talking about dead people, then some people don't like that. you know,
you lose them real quick. Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
Especially depending on whatever their belief system is.
I did that. I tried throwing systems.
Don't.
Well, the reason I caution people against this is occasionally I'll push through it, but is because I thought everyone would like to hear from their past loved ones. And I incorporated that to it in a regular reading. And I lost the client like that. She just leaned back and she goes, I don't believe in that. So there was a disconnect. So I don't do it now. If they don't specifically ask for mediumship, I don't do it that way. But sometimes I say, I know this is not a mediumship reading, but I have someone here that needs to give you a message. And I don't know if you believe in that. If you don't want the message, I understand. But I think it might be your guide or something like that. And then give the message.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
You get me going and I can jibber jabber forever. Gosh.
That's all right, because we're learning. I mean, and that's the whole point. Yeah. I wanted to bring out, because I knew your book is coming out like within the month. And I just wanted people to be able, especially we have a lot of people that sit in our chats that are also readers. Or
yes.
At least trying to learn how to read, or wanting to just, even if it's just for themselves and their family, they're maybe not looking to have a channel and go public with it. And so I was so humbled and honored when you asked me to be one of your pre-readers. I was like, oh my goodness. So I took it really seriously. And when I sat down and started trying to read, like I said, I was doing it on the computer, and I was like, okay, yeah, this isn't going to work because I gotta make notes. So I had to print it out. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so humbling for me. Yeah. Wow, thank you.
Because I love to. It's like when I first started doing this, the first time I really sat down and started doing this, it was a real epiphany for me, because it was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It clicked. Everything clicked into place. And it was like, no wonder I've struggled from job to job to job in different areas, whatnot, over the years, because it wasn't what I was supposed to do. Granted, it pays the bills until I got here, but this is what I'm supposed to do. Now I'm still doing it only part-time because I still have to pay the bills. But so it's like I took it from just wanting to kind of get a basic understanding of everything to like, no, I really want to know what and how to look at, so that when I sit down with someone face to face, then I can not just only pull from their energy and what's coming in the room with them and the energy that's coming in through me, but then I can look at the cards and see what is the energy coming from them to kind of round out that experience and what it is I'm trying to pick up and read. Because I firmly believe it's a little bit of all of it. It's you're pulling from all of that. And I had only ever done online, and I guess about 2 months ago, I did my very first real life in person, sitting across a table from someone reading.
Oh, cool.
And I was so nervous and so worried that I was going to totally flub it. Sound like an idiot. I mean, I was making myself sick because I was so nervous about it. But when I sat down and I started, it was the energy, while it's the same, it's also very different because it's a lot more potent. It was like I could physically feel the energy coming off of her. It was like, oh wow, okay. It was.
Did you really I have a question for you. Did you interpret that energy? So this is what I want to know. Did you interpret the energy as her energy signature on how she filters information? Is that what it gave to you?
It was more it felt more like, because she's just starting to read herself. So she was like brand new at all of this. And it was more of a feeling of somebody that's just wanting to know and understand as much as she can, as fast as she can, and it was just, and it was funny. I laughed because it turned out we work at the same place. Our buildings are next to each
Oh my
other.
gosh.
And so it was so wild. It was like, oh my God, I can't, out of all the people, who would have thought? And so we had determined to just meet after work, and I was going to walk over to her office and do the reading over there. And so that morning before I left for work, I thought, well, I need to bring what I need with me.
Right.
Because I don't want to have to come all the way home and then turn around and go all the way back to work. That's silly. And so as I'm looking in my bookcase full of cards, and I'm like, okay, what cards do I need to bring? And, so I'm getting this deck and I got that deck and, 2 or 3 decks. And then I reached down and I picked up one of the little oracle decks. And as I'm putting everything in the bag to go, and I'm looking down, I'm like, no, I don't need that. And I put it back.
The oracle?
So, yeah, I put the oracle deck back. Like, no, I don't need that one. And 5 times, Spirit had me go back 5 times and get that deck. I would go back, I would get it, I would put it in my bag. And then I'd start getting other things ready. And I'd be like, I don't need that one. And I would put it back. I was just arguing with myself about it. It was weird. So that afternoon we meet, we did our reading and everything. And then I said, we're kind of wrapping up. And I said, well, I said, let me pull a couple of oracles for you. I'm just really feeling like it's going to kind of help balance out what we've discussed. I pulled that deck and another deck out. And the minute she saw the 5-time deck, she lit up like a Christmas tree. And she was like, oh, you've got a deck on fairies. I love fairies. And I went, at that moment, it was like ding, 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 ding. That's why Spirit had you go back to the deck. And so I did a reading out of that deck. I put the cards back in the box and I handed it to her. And I said, it's yours. And she went, oh, no, I can't take that. And, I was like, no. I said, there was a reason why Spirit told me 5 times to go back and get this.
Go back and get that deck.
This deck is for you. Here, take it. It's my gift to you. That's, and I've given other decks away like that. And so
I love that.
And
I love that.
She was really touched. And it's like, I'll buy another deck when I get, because I don't use it that much. It's like, it's a nice deck, but it didn't really resonate with me. I don't use it that much.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I'll get another one. I'm not worried about it. But to see her light up the way she did when she saw that deck was just, I was like, instantly, it was, oh, that's why you had me go back and get this deck 5 times before I finally put it in the bag, left it in the bag.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
See, that's what I mean about impulse. That's the impulse. That's how they move in. So when I do a reading, let's say it's a third-party reading, which I teach how to do too, but go behind that person of interest. And I measure the cards will tell me as energy signature. So will the numbers, but that's numerology. And then you see impulses. And then you can measure how strong that impulse is. Let's say the question, when is he going to contact me? If I see that she's on his mind through the cards, I'm seeing she's on his mind, but I don't see an impulse that's going to move him into action, which would be what suit? That would be, the wand suit. So if I don't see the impulse there and the connection there and the impulse, the strength of the impulse, I'll just say, unless something happens on the outside of him, because he's not going to adhere to that impulse, just like you through 5 times, not going to come through with that impulse, but you're on his mind, let's say. But something from the outside of him, maybe as his guy friend says, dude, you can't give her up. She's great. Go back. That's something that happens on the outside of him to move him into that impulse to contact, that kind of thing. So
good on you. Yeah. And that is, I didn't even, at the time, I was like, I must be going crazy. Why do I keep going back to this stupid deck? And that's what it turned out to be. And that was a first for me. I mean, since then, I've given out a few other decks of just people in the chat that are talking about a certain deck that oh, I'm dying to get this deck. I've been saving up for it. And it's like a deck that's sitting on my shelf. I've used it once. It just didn't
Oh,
resonate with me at all. And so I've messaged them privately and said, what's your address? I've got the deck. You can have it.
oh,
And then I just sent it
nice.
to them. I figure, my first deck, somebody just sent them to me and gave them to me. I thought, okay, well, just paying it forward. If I
Yeah,
can help somebody along by giving
that's
them a
so
deck that
nice.
they're really wanting, to the point that they're saving up money for it, and it's just collecting dust over here on my bookshelf, then I'm send it to them. And I had somebody do that to me about 2 years ago. And she was in Australia, of all places. And she's like, oh, Miss,
Oh
I
my
said, that's
gosh.
going to cost you a fortune. She's like, oh, I don't care. I'm like, okay.
I love
And
that.
it's a great deck. I love to use it. It's another tarot deck, which for the longest time, I barely used any of my tarot decks because I was really into the oracles, which I still prefer. But I've gotten more and more in the past year
Mhm.
drawn back into the tarot. And like, you need to come and learn this. You need to come and really start absorbing the meanings. And so that's when I started trying to pick up books to read on it and everything. And so, and that's why I wanted to highlight for everybody your book coming out, because it
Thank you.
is very good at the breakdowns, the different suits, the different kind of cards, court cards, pip cards, the arcana, the major arcana cards, just the way it's all kind of laid out in a very clear but precise way. It's not like it takes you 4 pages to say something that takes 2 paragraphs to say it in.
Yes. I
And
know
that's
there's no
as a
filler.
reader, that's a big appreciative fact.
Yeah.
You kind of get right to the point of what it is you're
Yeah.
trying to teach. And then you have examples of readings to back up what you just taught about that suit or that,
Mhm.
those court cards
Right.
or something. And then you have that reading in there, and it's like, oh, that's interesting the way she put that with that. Okay, I see now. Okay,
Right.
that makes sense. And so it just like little light bulbs that go off as I was reading along. Is like I said, I wound up
Oh,
having to print the damn thing out because I was like, okay, I got to make a note of this.
you know,
And
there's something that I haven't ever brought up about that deck, and that is, I don't know if you've noticed it, but there are some cards I write a lot about because these combinations have proved, I've vetted them. I have vetted the tarot
right,
against
right.
real life people, thousands of readings, and some of them don't. They influence a little bit, but I don't. So I don't write much about, like the Wheel of Fortune. It's a nice card and everything, but I just wrote a little paragraph on that. But then you get into some of the other ones, and you get a whole book, a chapter about it. But I write about the cards that have served me well, the combinations that have served me well. And there is no better feeling than to do a reading for someone and you feel so confident and accurate, and the feedback is positive, that you made a change in
Yes.
someone's life, because enlightenment happens in an instant. It doesn't take a lifetime. And so if you can have the right combination of words at the right time, a person can feel so much better. And the cards I
There's
write about,
nothing that makes me
yep,
feel more complete than to give somebody a reading, and then a week or 2 later, I'll get an email
yes,
from them or something, and they're like, while I enjoyed the reading, I didn't realize how spot on you were about it.
yeah.
And then they tell me what happened or what occurred, and I'm like, wow, okay.
And
Because
that
most of the time,
that
I
also,
couldn't tell you 5 minutes after I do a reading, I couldn't tell you what I said. It's gone. It completely leaves my
right,
brain. I have to go
right.
back and watch something if they're saying, well, when you said that, 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 I'm like, I said that. I don't remember saying
And
that.
the thing
I
is
gotta go
that
watch that again.
it proves how much of someone's heart you have available. for you. So for instance, you sit down, I don't care who you are, you sit down for a reading or ask for a reading, that person's heart is open for anything that comes in. And so if you're a doom and gloom psychic or a doom and gloom advisor, if your energy is icky, you could say 1,000 things beautiful about that person. And one thing that you need to just look out for this or that, that's what they remember, is looking out for this and this. There was a review
point. The lady that gave me the cards when I first started is currently doing a weekly, just a live stream, but she's also teaching as she goes on how to use regular playing cards.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess it was about 2 weeks before my son had his heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
And she did a full out, use all the cards in the deck reading for me. And she did it on the live. So, it's like I got a copy of it. And she was talking about all this stuff and the young man and in the hospital and this and that and the other. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I don't know who the hell she's talking about. I don't have anybody in the hospital. I don't know anybody sick or, I'm like racking my brains trying to. 2 weeks later, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It all came
midnight and I'm
tumbling.
rushing my son to the hospital because he had a heart attack. It's like, this is wild, because then everything she said started rolling through my head. I was like, holy crap.
But when
so many
I
different
want
and didn't even realize that she was giving me a prophecy.
So I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
When you received that information, did you say, I don't have anybody in the hospital? And then did you just let it float away and listen to the rest of the reading? Or did it haunt you?
No, it just never floated away with me.
Right.
It was like because there were several things she talked about that kind of all tied into that. And I just remember going, okay, well, I'll keep an eye open for maybe that happening, because I'm thinking maybe a friend goes to the hospital or something.
But you didn't worry about it. See, that's the thing. There was somebody.
It didn't come from her in like, you need to be careful, this is going to happen. She was just like, this is what the cards are saying, this is what I'm seeing. And I was just like, oh, okay. And I just couldn't figure out where it would fit in my life, because at the moment, none of what she was telling me was currently happening to me. And I was like, okay, I don't get it, but okay, I'll keep my eyes open. And
there was
2 weeks later, it was wham. And I called.
Well, there was,
it was like, man.
There was a review. I don't know where I read it, but there was a review where a woman got some news that stuck with her, that something's going to happen. And it's going to be within the next 2 years, or these long timelines, which is ridiculous. And sorry, I'm melting. My room is getting so hot that I'm melting a bit. But
and we've been at this almost an hour and a half. I do apologize.
Well, hurry up.
I didn't mean to keep you so long, but
no, I enjoy it. What happened to this lady is that her review was this. The advisor was so insistent on this horrible thing coming around the bend that it never happened, by the way. It never happened. But this person spent a year and a half anticipating it to happen. And so it's how you choose your words, how you address it. That person who is giving you the reading presented it as a point of interest, not a point of fact. And so therefore it didn't stick on your shoes. It didn't go heavy on your heart. But this one woman was given the information in a way of always looking out. She could have had a better year and a half, much better year and a half, if she had not had a reading with that person. And so you can do great harm advising others when you're not. And especially the novice who feels that however they feel is spirit. They're an empath. They proudly say, I'm an empath, so I get this feeling. But when you only read from there, you impose a feeling or an energy signature on someone else. You're not reading anyone else. You're just projecting your own, I believe. So I get really, I encourage people to be the clipboard people, like your guides. This is what's happening here now. But so just be careful, you know.
Right. And I've to date, I've not given any readings where I felt like something is going to happen, or, you know, I'm seeing something that's kind of far out, because I haven't come to trust that very much yet, because it's like, it just
because it's a choice point. I look at it as a choice point.
Free will. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, free will. And the farther you get away from the actual day of the reading, the farther away you get, the less likely the prediction is going to come true, because of all the other synchronizing up.
Yeah.
And I'll challenge any advisor on that.
And, you know, when she did that reading for me, and she kept saying, you know, when I first was like, I have no clue who we're talking about here. She was like, well, she says, maybe I'm completely off base. She said, that's just what the layout is telling me. Maybe somebody you haven't talked to in a long time gives you a call and this is happening in my life, or something like that. I mean, I had to go back and rewatch her reading after it kind of clicked. Oh, wait a minute. She said that. You know, and then I had to go back and tell her, you know, wow, I mean, go back and rewatch if you don't remember what you said. But man, you like nailed all the main points, you know, not the fine detail, just the main points. And so I was like, she was like, well, it wasn't a prophecy reading. She says, I normally don't do that. I said, well, for whatever reason,
it works.
Spirit gave it to you to just put it in the back of my head. This is a possibility. And I said, maybe that's why I didn't react the way I normally would have overreacted. Instead, because
the way it's presented, and to have her say, this may or may not come true, because it's what it is life starts synchronizing up blessings and choice points for everybody all the time. It's in and out phase, just like the ocean, in and out. And so at the moment of the advising, when you like dip into that energy signature, it looks like life is synchronizing up this or that. And it's not like it's happening to you. It's available for you to make a choice point, like seven of wands, defending your position. We had that earlier, defending your position. Just say you're going to have an opportunity to defend your position. It doesn't mean someone's going to try and throw you under the bus. It's that you will have an impulse to speak your mind. I said that on for someone else, and you'll have an impulse to speak your mind, and it's going to go perfectly. And the lady came back and said, my son-in-law always says bad things about my daughter, you know, just, you know, a little side throwing shade. And she's never liked it before, but you know, it's their life, how he treats his kids, their life, that life. But that next Saturday when they were over, he did it again. And all of a sudden it was like channeled. And she wasn't thinking about my reading saying, oh, I'm going to find the words and all that stuff. It just channeled out. She spoke her mind in a good way, and it helped everything. He didn't realize he was saying it. So
a lot of people don't realize they're being negative, or that it's being perceived as negative. You know, they're just saying what they think or feel, and they don't think about how somebody else is going to take that.
Right.
So, I mean, I've done readings where, you know, I've read stuff and I'm like, but now, you know, this may happen. And then again, they may change their mind and something else totally different happens, because there's free will. People change their mind all the time about what they're going to do or how they're going to do it. So it's not like carved in stone that this is what's going to happen in this way. And I think most people get in trouble when they try to present either well, it's going to happen exactly like this, or when they try to perceive the reading as, well, you said it was going to happen just like this. No, it doesn't happen just that way. It's just for right now, that's what we're seeing. Tomorrow could be totally different because the energy changes,
Right.
A lot of us went through that when President Biden said that he was stepping down from running for president. There was a lot of pushback from a lot of the chatters to the readers. But y'all said that. It was like, because in the moment of the reading, that's what we were being told. And
Well, you just said,
he changed
yeah,
his
but
mind. So
right. You said Biden, though. I said the Democratic Party will win. The Democratic Party can run a tomato soup can, and I'd vote for it. And most everyone else would too. But the Democratic Party will win. So yeah, there's some people that hold it, and I'm glad they bring it up actually, because it's easier now as an advisor, because it's now known in general that we really do create our own reality. And to have a psychic reading, it gives you an idea of what's coming up so you can make the most of it.
Right.
And say, oh, there's a blessing coming your way. I will be able to speak my mind and have things turn out well, or whatever the message is.
Or, oh, there's a warning. Maybe I need to be a little careful when I tread that direction to protect myself. I mean, I had like that before, where it's like, just
because I'll say
cautious,
The thing is that when I read someone's energy signature, this is more for private readings and stuff. When I read someone's energy signature and I know their numbers, I can anticipate how they would react to what's coming up.
Right.
And I can say something's going to happen over here. It looks like something's synchronizing up to happen. Now, your first instinct is to do A, B, and C, and you'd be justified. But if you want the situation to go in your favor, pause first before you say ABC. It's amazing how much you can get away with, how much farther you can get it with just a pause before you speak.
Right.
And so just that advice can serve a person really well.
Absolutely. I know I had started a couple of things Jonathan had said, because it just kind of struck me. He's talking when we were talking about some cards, you get what you see, and
you get what you see.
And some layers does the card
how
have?
Many damn layers does the card have? Some cards are you get what you see. Yes, just here's the message. Some cards go into deep layers and efforts, and that's true, because that happens with the major arcana. And here's what I mean about that. Is that when you have majors in your reading, it's spirit asking you to ask your client to visualize this perspective from a higher octave, the righteous octave, like divine wisdom versus truth. So truth is subjective. It's true. Some states in America still have the death penalty, but wisdom is thou shalt not kill. So your either spirit is telling you that client of yours is going to move into the higher octaves during this thing that's coming up, and it's going to serve them well. Or you suggest, move into that, again, move into that pause and look at it as an observer instead of a victim, and you'll hit it out of the park.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What was it? Oh, he also said, he just mentioned a few things I found very interesting.
The first time I really understood what power a reading has is when one of my first paying clients told me in the end, you helped me to heal more than 6 months of counseling did. You were
Yeah.
shocked? Oh my God. That's the power of advising,
Yeah.
because therapy
It's
is a
expensive.
person who points the client towards their answer, but they have to find the answer themselves. We do it kind of a little differently. Throw the hand grenade and say, work your way backwards, reverse
Yeah,
engineer that.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, and we all, even if we're all readers, we all have different gifts with that. We all pick up differently with that. And I think it's just, I know the biggest lesson for me has been to learn how I'm more comfortable in reading and sharing with other people when I'm doing their reading. I don't do it like you do it, or I don't do it like Gerald does it, or like this person or that person or the other person does it. It's to learn to just do it in your own way. And then, it's like in this moment, this is what I'm seeing. Take it or leave it. The choice is yours. You can't. And if you see something really heavy and kind of dark, I mean, the way I did it in the past was I've kind of touch on it, but I'll make a joke about it. Kind of, make it not quite like doom and gloom, but just, well, unless you want such and such to happen, you might want to keep an eye out for whatever the case may be.
Right. That's a good way to present it, but also you can get clarity on, if there's a gaggle of bad cards, a group of bad cards, and think, well, that's interesting. So people will interpret that, a challenging time is coming. That message right there is going to stick with that person the whole time. And yes, indeed, the challenging time came and went, but it's just part of their life. They didn't look at it as challenging. We did, because the cards said it was.
Right.
You see
and perhaps it wasn't as challenging to them because we
exactly, because they've learned their whole life. This is what I mean. Oh, I'm getting excited again. Sorry. I'm getting hot. But the thing is that this person, just like you, has had their whole life experience to manage the moment coming up. We're just seeing the moment and saying, geez, wouldn't want that. But they are they're better equipped than you are for that moment. So take the pedal off the gas when you see stuff like that, because
exactly.
And you can also clarify with other cards and say, what the heck is this? Do I really need are these cards just placeholders to get to the next card? Right? So
is this just to kind of fill out the skippy part,
fill out the table?
Is it it makes me think back when first got computers, and back in the early 2000s, and got started, and I would get really frustrated sometimes because I would have a computer. It seemed like it took forever when I would turn it on for everything to load, and come up. And it was my son who said, okay, picture yourself in the library. There's a great big table in front of you. Now, how easy would it be to get this item over here open and running if that's the only thing on the table, or if you have 50 other books on the table and they're all open and running too?
I love metaphors like that. I love that.
And he knew I would get it, being it's the library and it's a table full of books. He got it, and I was like, I never thought. He's like, you gotta get rid of this other gunk that you don't use but once in a while, so that it doesn't automatically open up and start taking up space and drive time and everything. Just leave the stuff that you're gonna use every time that's open and ready to go when you start up.
Right.
And then the other stuff, if you need it, well, you can go and click on that link and bring it in and use it.
Right.
Declutter your tabletop is what he kept telling me, is clean off your table. was like, I don't know what you mean by that. That's when he came up with the metaphor.
That's a great metaphor. I love
I
metaphors.
was like, oh, okay, yeah, I kind of get that. That's cool.
Yeah.
And so I can't think of anything else to ask. I've already kind of been through all the
Oh,
points that I wanted to make. Is there anything
this has been
you
so
want to
fun.
add or
I'm just available to run things past. And I do have a membership. I'm not sure I'm going to continue. It's all classes on how to read. One class is just the tarot. The other class is tarot and numbers. And I do have it available. And we meet over Zoom. So you're right there. So you can ask questions right away. And the classes are small. So you can get your stuff done. You can move fast. And an hour with that is amazing. I do one-on-one too, if you wanted to do that, and that's amazing. The
Sharon's been
information
putting all your
that's
links in for that. So
thank you. But but I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that up. So if you sign up now, you I hate to say that, but then at least I'll have your email address so we can, whatever next I'm going to do.
Right.
Because I'm thinking about doing workshops and where it's concentrated instead of every week coming in. I don't know. That's just a thought. But nothing gives me more value, feeling of value than to serve another person well. And I love it, that feeling so much. I want others to know it too. Even if you're not going to do tarot, it gives you a language to where when you're talking with a kid or someone on the street and something happens, you will have the right combination of words to serve that person well.
Exactly.
And that's why we're here.
Just to sharpen your own ability to see that kind of stuff.
Right.
I know I don't have memberships myself right now because I'm still in YouTube jail, but I'll get released at the end of the month and I can reapply. A bunch of us got popped for simulcasting.
And say that again?
For simulcasting.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know. I haven't.
There's a whole bunch of people have been demonetized over that. It's like,
yeah,
it was against your rules. Why did you allow us to do it?
For so long, yeah.
So I'm still cleaning up my channel, getting rid of the guilty videos.
What does that mean, the guilty videos? You mean you're deleting them?
Didn't originally come from me, the ones that I simulcasted.
Oh,
I'm slowly going through and deleting those. Just deleting them off my channel so that they're no longer there for them to say, well, you still got someone else's content. Wow. It's like, okay. Because once they pinpoint you, then it's like they jump on every little move you make.
Right.
Because the very first thing they hit me with was using a Christmas song in a 30-second promotional video for an upcoming show. And it was a Christmas song that I got off of YouTube's safe list.
Oh.
That they said, oh, you can use these songs, And so I went looking for a Christmas song because it was at Christmas time. And I picked one of the songs, used 30 seconds. That's all, just 30 seconds of that song for a little promo clip. And that's what they originally busted me with. It's like, but okay, you said it was safe to use that song. Why are you doing this now? So, but from what I've found out since then is that if somebody else comes along and buys the copyright on that piece of music, it like changes the status of if it's safe to use or not. So I was like, well, I sure didn't know that. So I quit using their music anyway. I use either music my son wrote or music that Arthur wrote, or a couple of people I know they're musicians. I just get them to give me permission for it. So yeah.
I purchased my music. So, and I go through this one guy and he has whitelisted my channel from YouTube. So it'll never Yeah.
Right. And that's what it's like. My son's written the music that I've used. One song in particular he wrote for me to use, so it's like my song. Um, and then Arthur from Ease Your Mind. He's also a musician and has
Mm.
quite a lot of music up on his website. And he's like, yeah, just whenever you find something you like, let me know, and I'll get my agent to mark you down as you're good to go to have that song. So,
Oh,
and then
wow.
I
That's
just put the
nice.
little, so that helps. And
Mhm.
I'm just more careful now, I guess you could say, about what I put on there. And
Yeah.
I try not to use as much music anymore because YouTube's just gotten
Mhm.
crazy with it. And which is a shame because
It
there's so much
enhances it.
good
It
music,
enhances
yeah.
everything.
Well, not just you, but
Whoops.
it's also showing off that little clip of the song, and somebody's like, "Know that in years. Oh, I gotta go find that video and watch that again."
Yeah.
So I know a lot of the music reactors have trouble with that, of
Mhm.
not getting busted for reacting live in the moment that they tape it to a music video they've never seen or heard before, and then they'll post it up. And but there are like really weird rules for them for that. So I don't
But
know. I like to watch some of them,
isn't
but
it with monetization? So if you want to monetize that video, you
yeah,
need to do something. So if you just turn turn
yeah.
that to
Most of them
off.
they don't monetize on that video.
Oh.
They'll run the monetization like through their Patreon page or something like that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so I'm
Wow.
looking into a couple of other different options for membership instead of just YouTube. It's like
Yeah.
I
It's a
don't
good
want
idea.
everything to be wound up with YouTube, and then if they decide to put me in jail again, then I lose all my income coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Because they will pause your memberships and everything. They will shut everything down when they do that. And
Ugh.
it's like, ooh, that's horrible. Because I know a couple of people who are like big time, on air, not
Mhm.
necessarily in our community, but in some of the others, where they're probably pulling in 10, 20, 30 grand a month just in memberships and stuff. It's like,
Oh,
how
wow. How do
the
you
hell
keep
do
up
you
with
do
that?
that? It's exactly. It's like, how do you keep up? Well, they hire people to keep up with it. It's
Oh,
okay. I guess that's how they do it. So, but I don't know. That's crazy. I would be happy just to make a couple thousand a month that replace my salary when I retire, and I'm happy.
right.
Then I
Oh,
don't have
you'll
to go
get
get
there.
another job. I'm getting there. I'm almost to 3,000, so I'm getting there. Just
Good for
I'm going
you.
slow, taking my time. I'll get there when I get there. All right, who's calling me now? Who knows? Look like a spammer. Somebody trying to sell me something.
Yeah.
Most of them I've managed to block, but every now and again someone gets through. It's like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
If you got to block your name, I don't answer your call.
That's right.
If all I see is a number there, you're out of luck.
That's right.
Well, Deborah,
That
thank you
is
so
right.
much for coming on today and
Thank you.
going over
I
your book and everything. I am so excited. I can't
You're
wait
the
for it to come out.
best. You're so
And
nice to do that for me.
oh, you're welcome. I'm just
This is so great.
um yeah, y'all go get her book when it comes out. You will not be
Thank you.
sorry, especially if you read. It
Thank you.
is it was I found it quite eye-opening with a lot of different aspects and ways of looking at it as far as
Right.
I've gotten in it now. Um
Yeah.
like, oh wow, I never thought of it like that before. That's kind of cool. So it just
Right.
opens up a whole new avenue of how you think about things. So
That's right.
hi, Miss Tarot D. Um,
Hi, Miss
she just had
Carol.
a birthday the other day,
Happy birthday.
and I sent her a virtual card this year. I forgot to mail the
Oh,
regular card,
oh, Tropical
and
pre-ordered my book. Yay, 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 yay. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
Amanda ordered it, and I think Jonathan's got it ordered. And
Oh,
I saw
yay.
somebody else in the chat that said I pre-ordered the book. I'm like, yay!
I'm so
So
happy. Thank you so much for that.
you're more than welcome. So
Oh, wow.
um,
It's
I mean,
great. The
thank you
next
for
time,
coming and spending your
thank
afternoon
you.
with me. And
I really enjoyed it. I'll make sure my AC works next time so I don't look like a withery. It broke, and I've been trying really
I would
hard to
hate to
look.
think what it would be like in here if our AC broke. Oh my God, it's been
Yeah,
with the heat index. We've been between 110 and 120 all week.
serious.
Yeah, serious. That's how
So
hot it's been here.
it's on 24 hours. Your AC is on
Oh, it
24
never
hours.
stops. It's on year round.
Wow,
There
wow,
might
wow.
be 2, maybe 3 weeks out of the year that we turn the heater on. The rest of the time, the AC's on.
Oh, wow, wow. Where are you
And
located again?
I'm in Southwest Louisiana. I'm down towards the
Oh,
bottom of the boot.
it's
I'm
humid there.
roughly I'm roughly 3 miles from the largest land-based swamp in the continental U.S., and that's the Atchafalaya Basin, and it's
Oh my gosh.
huge. It's an 18-mile bridge to cross it,
Oh my
and
god.
That's the shortest leap across, and that's from us to Baton Rouge. And you have to go
Oh
over
my
that bridge,
gosh. I don't
and
know anything like that.
and
That's
yeah,
amazing.
you don't want to be on the bridge if there's a wreck because you're stuck. There's
I
no
can't
getting off.
imagine.
You just gotta sit and wait it out. So they're supposed to be redoing it. It's part of the infrastructure thing that our senator got for us, which was really cool. And he was willing to cross the aisle and work with the Democrats to get that for
Oh,
us.
good.
We had so many bridges and stuff here that are practically falling down that it's like we desperately need the money to start fixing things. And
Yeah,
he did it. So I was like, "You did good. Okay, I'll give you applause for that." So they're slowly starting to work on everything in the state. It's not just down here, but the north part of the state too. Is everything's just so damn old, it's falling apart. And I mean, look what Katrina did to New Orleans. That was because the levees needed to be fixed for like 50, 60 years, and it just never got done because the money wasn't there to do it. So,
right.
and they kept saying it's just going to take that one perfect time, and they're going to go. It's going to flood you out, and that's what happened.
That's what
Because New
happened.
Orleans is in a bowl. It's surrounded by water, and it's below sea level. It's like
Gosh.
everything's built up with dikes and levees all
Wow.
around. Um, we're at. I think we might be 1 or 2 feet above sea level where I'm at, which is you dig 6 inches, you get water. I mean,
Yeah.
water just starts seeping out of the ground. So yeah,
Wow.
we're right on the edges of the swamp. So let a good rain come through and we start flooding. It's not unusual to see an alligator trucking down the road. Just
I've seen
checking it out.
TV like I've seen that on TV. It
Yeah,
blows my
we have our
mind.
own swamp on campus where I work because I work at the university. And we have our own. It's a man-made swamp, but we have our own swamp. And every now and again, one of the alligators will manage to break out of the fence, and next thing you know, you got students hollering, "There's an alligator in class!" So they'll go strolling down the sidewalks. It's like, yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah.
So far,
No.
no one's ever been bitten. They're pretty quick about getting them wrangled and put back in the swamp, but
Yeah.
still, it can be scary.
Yeah, it would
And
be. Absolutely. Jonathan was
the
talking about his AC. He lives in Hawaii.
yeah,
$800 to $1,000 is not unheard of to cool down a big house in Hawaii. Wow.
well, I know my son was stationed there when he was in the Navy. He was stationed at Pearl, and he and one of his shipmates got a house that they rented, and it was a nice 2-story house. They didn't have any AC in that house. They just kept all the windows open, and it stayed fairly cool. At night it would get cold because you get the breeze coming,
Right.
constant ocean breeze. Um, so it's probably depends on where you're located on the island, which
Mhm.
island you're on. I mean, we were on Oahu. That's the most populous. That's where most of the people live is there, because you got Honolulu and you got the naval base, like a marine base. I don't know, got all kinds of stuff there. There's people out the wazoo. But
It
it's
is
still
pretty
beautiful.
busy.
Yeah, it's
Where,
still lovely.
what island are
Over
you on,
300.
Jonathan?
Jonathan, which island are you on?
I think he's on Kauai.
Yeah, I've heard
I
some
don't
people
know.
say there's nothing like the Big Island. That it's really, really gorgeous. I know just, I mean, I was only on Oahu. I didn't get to go to the other islands. And it was beyond beautiful. It was like, oh, I could so live here. But from what I've been told, the other islands are far, far more gorgeous than Oahu is because there's just not as many people. Um,
It's getting hotter and hotter here, he says.
oh, he's on
Winter
Maui.
time. Oh, he's on Maui.
He's on
That's
Maui.
what
Yeah.
summer
Okay.
temperatures used to be. It's crazy how much it's changed in 14 years on Maui. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I feel about Northwest Florida. Up in the Destin area. We lived there from 69 to 75. We lived in that area and there was like nothing there. It was just sand and water, a little bitty town, and that was it. The last time I went back there, it was nothing but condos up and down the beach. It was like,
Yeah.
y'all have ruined the beach. What is wrong with you people?
That's what my little town is doing. The Oceanside is building up. But there were, remember the story, Sister Wives?
Mm-hmm.
The TV show Sister Wives. They had
I never watched
they
it, but I
they
remember the show.
brought their family, their big family, to have a vacation in my little town. And then there was and that lasted 2 seasons because the vacation started at the end of one season and into the next. And then there was a Big Brother house, and then there's the Top Gun house. So all of a sudden, it's just corporate now down at the beach.
Yeah.
But
Well, here in our area between us, Baton Rouge, little north, Hollywood has discovered us to come and do films. They've had
yes, I've
several
heard that.
major movies done. Last big movie that was filmed here was with Morgan Freeman. And he was here for like 3 weeks, I think, filming. And
Oh,
every
wow.
day he would go out to a different restaurant here in town.
Oh, how
Um,
nice.
and he would sit, he would sign autographs, he would take pictures with people. He would just,
Now, who was
you
this?
know, Morgan
Is it
Freeman, the
Morgan Freeman?
actor, Morgan
Oh,
Freeman. He
nice
was here for
guy.
like 3 weeks. Very nice man. Everybody I talked to that met him said the nicest man they had ever met.
That's
And
so nice.
but he would every day he would go out to one of the local restaurants and go sit and order food and take pictures with people and sign autographs and just because all it would take would one or two people walk in and see him or see him
Yeah,
walk in and they're on their phone. Oh my
right.
God, Morgan Freeman's here. And next thing you know, you got 50 people trying to get in the door. And each
Yeah,
place he went to, it boosted their business, because it
of
would kind of
course.
spotlight them. So they weren't going to kick them out, but yeah, everybody I didn't get to meet him. It's like, yeah, he didn't come on campus. So I didn't get to meet him, but
Yeah,
everybody I talked to that did said he was the nicest man in the world. So
that's good to
I was
know.
like, that's good when people that you perceive as being nice
Yeah,
really
and you're
are.
not disappointed.
Yeah,
You're not disappointed in them.
exactly.
There's celebrities on
Um,
Maui. I bet there is.
oh yeah,
You
oh
should
yeah.
start reading for them, Jonathan. You get an
Oh, there
invitation to
you
go to
go.
their suite and give them a reading. I'd exploit the heck out of that
For sure.
and get you
Miss
into
Terrell
that.
D is the one that started in on me a couple of years ago. You've got a niche. Why aren't you using it? I'm like, what niche? She's like, you're in the swamp. So I just got a voodoo deck. I just haven't gotten
Ah,
to it yet to learn it because it's all voodoo stuff in it. It's like, I don't really know that much about it. So it's not, it's down here. It's like, whatever. Nobody thinks anything about it, but I do have my very own voodoo doll.
oh,
My Wonder
yay.
Woman voodoo doll.
Awesome.
I love these. It's a company called Watch Over Voodoo. They're based out of South Florida,
Uh-huh.
and they make these little dolls. Just about anything you want to look at to buy, they make these little dolls. And they're not
Nice.
expensive. They're like under $15 a doll. And
Oh my God. It's called Voodoo what?
Watch Over,
Watch over.
WATCHOVER, one word. Voodoo, VOODOO. And but
That's
yeah,
great.
they have some great little dolls. And I bought for the Sisters of the Mystical Tarot that we meet on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Last year for Christmas, I bought all of them a doll that I sent them
Oh,
for Christmas, and they were all like, "Oh my God!" So
that's nice.
yeah, but
That's so nice.
when I first got to know Miss Terrell D, I sent her a doll. She was going through her chemo and stuff at the time, and she was
Ah.
really sick, and I sent her a little doll with some stuff. I contacted her husband and said, "How do I send something to y'all?" And he was
That's
kind enough to send me the address, and so I was able to
awesome.
send it. I was like, it means one thing to send an email; it's another thing to get a package at your door with a
Sure.
card in it and a
You're
present.
so
It's
generous.
a
You're
little
so
different.
generous.
So, and I like to do little things like that to make people feel good. Uh, yeah, Amanda, you're right. I need to get them to try to make one of Miss Tarot D. Maybe I'll have to look into doing that myself. I don't know how to make a voodoo doll. I have to look into making them. Wouldn't that be
Yep.
fun?
YouTube tutorial. YouTube is your best teacher.
How to make a voodoo doll.
Yeah.
They don't look that difficult to make. It'd just be a matter of having the right materials. I have to look into that. Maybe I could do that as one of my merch. Part
Yeah,
of my
there you
merch.
are.
Your very own Voices from the Swamp voodoo doll. Oh
Tropical
my
says
goodness.
gifting is one of my love languages. Yeah, I have a friend like that too. I like to give too.
Yeah, I like to give gifts to people, and they're usually not very expensive. Just little things that I know it makes me feel good if I get something out of the
Sure.
blue. Um, it's like, wow. I mean, somebody was thinking of me. How sweet. And so I like to try to do the same. I like to make people feel good. I like to make them happy.
So cool. So cool.
And
That's
before you
wonderful.
melt into a puddle, I'm going to
I'm
let
going to
you
go out and
go.
run through the sprinkler. I just
If you got a
wilted.
swimming pool, go dive in.
I know. I got a
Run through the
pond
sprinkler
in the
would
back.
work too. Yeah. Oh,
What's
there
that?
you go. I said running through the
Sprinkler?
sprinkler works too. So I've done that a lot of times.
And jump over
Anything to
there.
cool off. Yeah. You got a
Thanks
neighbor with a
for
pool. Go jump the fence and take a swim.
there you go. There you go. Yeah, it
Well,
really
thank
gets
you
me down, but
so
thank you
much for
so
coming on,
much.
Deborah. You're welcome.
This
You
is
have to come back again. We don't
yeah,
do
I'll
this
have you
enough.
on mine. We'll just go back
Sure.
and forth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll figure out a date after we sign off.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So I'll stay on.
thank you, everybody, for coming and spending your afternoon with us. 2 hours. Y'all stuck around for 2 damn hours.
Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you.
Bravo. Thank you. And we will do it again. I'll be back tonight, 11 p.m. Central. It's slumber party. Every Saturday night, 11 p.m. Central, I have my slumber party.
I'll be darned.
You have to wear your PJs. It's anything goes. You just never know. Could be a naughty card night. It could be an oracle card night. It could be just sitting and BSing with each other night. It just depends on what the mood is.
I like that.
And so I have a lot of fun with that. And Helen's going to be with me tonight. So y'all are in for a treat. Irish Granny Tarot. And
Oh, Irish. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a sweetie. And she's the one that was, after I started doing it, I'd get an email. You want company tonight? I'm not doing anything. I'm like, yeah, come on. So Amanda was on with me last week. So she came on with me. She and Scott from Scorpio Tarot.
Scorpio Moon.
Sun Tarot.
No, Scorpio Sun, yeah.
Yeah. And
he's up at all hours. I mean,
yeah, he's another night owl like me. He's up half the night. Yes.
Yeah.
So last weekend I was like, well, why don't you come over on my channel? We'll stay up late together. It's like, okay.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
And then Amanda joined in, and then we got Hershey showed up in the chat, and I was like, you want to join us? I'll send you the link.
That's so fun.
We were on for like almost 3 hours, I think, last week. It was crazy. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And a room full of people, I was like, I can't believe y'all are still here. It cracks me up. But it's just to have fun. I like to do this. It's my one night of the week I can stay up all night if I want. So
right.
I just have fun with it. And there are some nights when I'm here and they watch me go to sleep. I'll start calling out on them, and I'll look up, and on the chat I'll see 3 or 4 people saying, Sherry, it's time to go to bed. You're falling asleep.
Your moms are coming in saying, Sherry,
yeah,
turn the light
good
out.
at it too. They're good at it too. So all right, well, this time I'm definitely goodbye, everybody. Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Full moon is Monday, I think it is. I think our full moon is on Monday.
It's Monday, the first day of the convention.
Oh, that's right. And it's not just a full moon, it's a super blue full moon. It's a super moon and a blue moon. So
Tropical says, I need
Monday.
Curse word cards.
I need the curse word cards. That's the Rebel deck. Yeah, I'll send you the link. Those are great. My favorite is my Listen Biatch deck. So it's like, listen, bitch.
Love it.
And there's some good ones in that. All righty, y'all. Goodbye.
Love you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank y'all for coming. See y'all tonight.
See ya.
Bye.